And it gets better. It gets better. How does Lindell have any money left? Pillow sales. Lots of pillow sales. From Trump supporters. Okay. So they have proprietary software making it hard to actually independently check for vulnerabilities and accuracy. I'm not sure about those particular machines, to be fair. And I do know that there were machines that if you hook them up to the internet, there are vulnerabilities. There's a group of teenagers that were able to crack it in like 10 minutes. So, but these are not hooked up to the internet. And that's the important part. That's why Lindell's theory completely falls apart. Yeah, how did he ever make money with crappy pillows? Advertising, friends. Advertising. And again, you also have paper backups in a lot of these places that do the paper ballots. And so if you have, because a lot of the voting machines understand too, and we're not just talking about like the touchscreen voting machines, which have always been a little shady, but we're talking about the machines where you fill out the paper ballot and you put the ballot inside of it and it sucks it right in. That's the ones that we're talking about, where you have paper ballot backups. And those are the ones that are being audited and match what the machine had put out. So just letting you know, like there's nothing here. It's a nothing burger. And I understand that there are legitimate concerns with the touchscreen voting machines. And I've shared those concerns for a long time, that I think that we should do fully paper ballots. But understand that what they're alleging here is just simply impossible for them to do. That's the machine I voted with, filled the paper out, put it in the machine. Exactly, Spicy Dragon. And I do this, and you know, all the machines around here, and you get the confirmation that your ballot was counted. Yes, and those are the machines that we have here. In every place I've never had the actual touch screens. But again, we've seen them change, interestingly enough, change to Republicans before because of, you know, software or so-called software errors. No security is 100% true, which is bringing up my argument before how the right went black and white absolutes, and like dude's life don't work that way. Yeah, no, that's true, and I brought that point yesterday. As far as I'm getting derailed, but I brought up the point yesterday where it's kind of like with the vaccines, right? Or with, you know, gun control measures. Republicans are claiming that they want that if something doesn't work 100% or is 100% effective or safe or whatever, that we should just scrap the whole thing, and that there's you know, that we should just ignore it, that we should throw it out. And that's, again, you're right, that's not how reality actually works. And that's not a good thing to do, especially if something is incredibly effective or incredibly secure. And nothing is going to be 100%, but if you're at 99% or 98%, I'd say you're doing pretty good, and we should probably, you know, keep that system. So, paper is a left-wing conspiracy. All right, anyway, more Cope and Seeth. During his cyber symposium, MyPIllow might have gotten some bad news. You see, on Wednesday, a judge in Washington, D.C. had denied MyPillow's motion to dismiss the massive defamation lawsuit against him filed by Dominion Voting Systems. And we might actually have some video of him after he found out. Take a look.
Republican counties are being won by Trump, but by a much smaller number than projected. And then you have Philadelphia much closer and able to do its thing, because Rudy Giuliani will tell you Philadelphia is the kingpin of election fraud. But it wasn't possible without stuff like this.
Gone. Gone. He's out. Dude is outie. Look, okay, to be fair, a little bit of clickbait, all right? There's actually no indication that Lindell's exit was directly related to the ruling, but I wouldn't be surprised. Because if I were facing a lawsuit that would leave me completely bankrupt, because I couldn't afford $1.6 billion, and in fact, honestly, make me bankrupt wouldn't take much. And I just heard that news. Oh no, I would be like, I gotta go. I gotta go.
Oh no!
Get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Do something else. So yeah, now some details that I found interesting from that ruling that happened yesterday, which by the way is not just affecting Mike Lindell, it's also hitting Sidney Powell and of course our buddy Rudy Giuliani. So much for the Kraken lady, you are sunk. Now the ruling proceeded to counter the defendant's arguments that for getting the Dominion lawsuit dismissed, and it argued that Dominion has adequately alleged that Powell had made a number of statements that are actionable because a reasonable juror could conclude that they were either statements of fact or statements of opinion that relied upon facts or that implied or relied upon facts that are provably false. So actual just lies. So obviously that's the definition of defamation, when you put out false statements when you know that the statements are false. If you're making things up and presenting them as fact and saying, oh, don't worry, we got the evidence to prove it, and then you don't present the evidence, well, then you're going to get in trouble. That's not good. It does not play well in a court of law. And that's what's important. So now the ruling was made by Judge Carl Nichols, who was appointed by the president, by the former president, President Donald Trump, to the bench back in 2018. So I remember when they were rushing to fill these seats, these bench seats, after they had blocked, the Republicans had blocked pretty much every single Democratic nominee to any of these local benches. Well, it turns out, even if it's a Trump-appointed judge, they don't always back Donald Trump, and that's good to see. It's good to see that system works. In this ruling, apparently, says Dominion can go ahead and proceed. In fact, I love some of the language that Judge Nichols had used. He said, while citing the outlandish claims by the experts like Russell Ramsland, who had authored a report on the Michigan election, saying that it was full of errors and conspiracy theories. He pointed out that Ramsland also has a history of false and irrational claims, and here are some of those claims. He wrote in his opinion, that expert has also claimed George Soros, President George H.W. Bush's father, the Muslim Brotherhood, and numerous undefined leftists had gotten together to help form the deep state in Nazi Germany back in the 1930s. Which would have been a remarkable feat for Soros, who was born in 1930. You know what? Time traveling George Soros. That's what's going on. No, it's bonkers. It's absolutely ridiculous. They are not, I repeat, not sending their best. That guy, oh God, and he lives in the same state. Oh Jesus Christ, the dumb people walk among us, everybody. Really, really dumb people. Unhinged. I don't even want to touch the claims because they're just so ridiculously laughable. They're spewing hot garbage. But unfortunately, you have enough people that are going to believe. Do you know that George Soros is actually, over 100 years old, and he was a secret Nazi, even though he's Jewish, by the way, which is an interesting claim that a lot of people on the right are doing, and of course, it's deeply anti-Semitic as well, because you've got the tropes of the people pulling the strings, George Soros, President George H.W. Bush's father, the Muslim Brotherhood. Come on. Again, not sending their best. Unhinged. Now, as for Lindell, Nichols writes this, quote, in totality, it is adequately alleged that Lindell made his claims knowing that they were false or with reckless disregard for the truth. Bam. Nailed him.
You're full of shit.
That's what he just told Lindell. Look, here's the interesting thing. I'm not sure if I 100% agree with that. Oh, no, okay, wait a minute. Whoa. No, hear me out. I've been saying all along, MyPIllow is high in his own supply. In some cases, perhaps literally. Although I cannot prove anything. I believe he thinks he's I believe that he believes his bullshit. Okay? And that maybe his brain is so addled from, years of drug abuse that he thinks, oh no, I've fucking nailed it. Nailed it. And maybe also that he's got both his personality and his business that are wrapped into it. And so I think there's a huge level of personal interest in this, into making this appear to be true. And of course, he also makes money off of it. Sells a lot of pillows to Trump supporters, and the hogs, But I also think that there's a part of him that says, no, I do believe it. They stole it from me. They stole the election from me. Remember, there was an interview that he had with David Pakman, which was hilarious. You should check it out. I know, even if you don't like David Pakman, that is definitely worth a watch. And he said, oh no, I had a dream where I met Donald Trump. And of course, that dream has to mean something. No, it doesn't mean anything. It's a dream. Again, maybe I'm giving him too much credit for creating his own insane reality. And maybe he is just a grifter. But I'm pretty convinced that he believes his own lies. I don't really know. But what I do know is that the guy better start pinching his pennies. Because, or maybe you should get a cameo like Rudy Giuliani.
I have not loved this conversation.
Because, $199. Can you believe how cheap Rudy Giuliani actually is? I don't know how much Lindell would get off cameo, but whatever it is, you better start doing a lot of cameos because you won't need it. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.